Peter!
Hello,
Oh,
young Jackson, is that you?
yes, it is. Is that Skuzzabot?
Wow, is this Peacock Pranayama? Yes, it is. And
Mm.
is this a peacock feather? Now, it's funny. Everyone knows the colorful feathers are the peacock's clothes. But whether you do know a peacock or not depends on whether you can identify this feather here. Now, this is a peacock feather, a beautiful one. See? But
Mm-hmm.
it's not often appreciated because we just drawn to the bling, right? Oh, I met a nice person last night. You know, they had this gold chain on and these really cool glasses. Oh, what else were they wearing? I don't know. Right? It's kind of like what a peacock feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, that's a bit of a stretch. But let's stretch our imagination into the world of cacao. Young
Yes.
Jackson and I, we come from Canada, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We do. And we grew up on milk chocolate. Easter eggs, Cadbury's. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your chocolate history. Like, are you a chocolate man?
I was growing up, not as much now. A lot
Hmm.
of like chocolate at Easter, chocolate at Halloween. Then at Christmas time when you go to Grandma's house, she has the turtles.
Hmm.
That was a big one.
Of course. Yeah.
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 And then hot chocolate on cold winter days.
Ah, yes. And who can resist the comfort of hot chocolate on a cold winter day? Young Jackson and I have been letting into a little secret, haven't we?
We have.
Yes. It turns out that cacao, the bean that Cacao theobroma, right? Theobroma
Mm-hmm.
is is a very sacred medicine, and we are just getting to know this. And as all sacred plants, all things, I believe, in this world have a spirit. And so I think it's safe to say that one of the reasons why the West is so obsessed with chocolate and why we grow up, being so comforted by chocolate is because there's a very special medicine in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your cacao. I'm going to just make my cacao. I can't see the screen. I'm going to have to flip the screen around because this is weird. I didn't think about that. Can I flip my screen live?
Yeah, you can do that.
I can. Okay.
Should be able to.
Uh, Flip it.
Uh,
Yeah, there it is. Oh,
Whoa, there's the money
okay.
shot.
Now, does this work? Oh no,
Yes,
that
it.
doesn't work.
Oh.
How do I do this? I got no. Can I do this?
Make sure you can see yourself from where you're at. Oh, maybe
Can-
move the banana a tad bit.
Yeah, but
Maybe
I
a
like the
little.
I
A
like
li
the banana though.
Well, it kind of covers half the screen. If you're okay with that.
Look at who's that?
Oh, Mr. Banana Man's making an appearance.
And banana, am I right? Banana goes great with chocolate. I wonder
Mm.
about putting some banana. What would the cacao shaman say about putting cacao in putting banana in cacao?
Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That might be
In
a stretch.
in the drink itself, I don't know about that, but I feel like
Yeah,
maybe after or before.
can
If
see
you did,
young Jackson.
wow. Wow.
Cacao!
Cacao, hi, cacao.
Cacao! Now, I don't know if this is appropriate for a cacao ceremony. Is this okay to have fun?
I think so. We're doing it in thanks and in reverence of the spirit of cacao. I think
There
Mother
it is.
Cacao would like this.
There's the Skuzzabot bowl.
Yes.
Skuzzabot is an orphan foster child of Mama Cacao,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, so Mama Cacao, I think, is a great foster mother. She comes into our hearts, all these lost children that I am a lost boy. Some say Peter Pan, maybe. Hey, which lost boy are you, Jackson?
Ooh, which lost am
I
I?
don't. Yeah,
I don't know. Let's see. Peter Pan. Peter Pan had some comrades, right?
yeah,
Who there is the young boy who Peter Pan was with, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like the young Jackson version of him.
Yeah,
And today we're going off on our quest to Neverland
right.
to
Hey,
to connect with Mother Cacao and talk with her.
yes. Neverland episode. It might be better if I have a chair.
Perhaps.
Or I could do horse dance the whole time.
Ah, ooh, ah, ooh.
Okay. Okay, so when I sing the cacao song, you do the oof. Okay.
Do you want me, should I stand up, Peter?
You're okay. Yeah, you're okay. If
Okay.
stand up if you like, but that's gonna work with your microphone.
Oh, that's true. I'll do the sitting hoo-ha.
Sitting hoo-ha, chair Wim Hof, like chair yoga. I do that in the seniors home when I do my cold exposure workshops in the senior center.
Uh-huh.
You know, I wheel in the ice bath there and they just do their hoo-has in their wheelchairs and their, you know, and then I just upend them off their wheelchair into the cold bath. We got the ambulance right there, the defibrillator, and it's fine. You know,
Yeah.
they don't know where they are, but they feel great. They feel amazing. So
Yeah.
we got to give a shout out to the source, to the plug,
Shout
to
out.
the yeah, and much respect and much love to Isaias and his lovely family for passing this along to our teacher, who's passed it along to us. And I like to just shave it off, make a
Mm-hmm.
nice bevel on it, nice little pyramid, shave it into there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got this. I got this heart just to represent that Mama Cacao's medicine is for our corazones. Corazones.
Sí. Cura, cura mi corazón. Cura,
Um,
cura
right there.
mis otros corazones.
All right. I
Corazones.
hope our teacher doesn't get mad at me for making such a silly ceremony here. But first, I'm
Well,
going to light this stick of incense. Now, this stick of incense, I love Japanese culture, Japanese aesthetics, Japanese fabrics, Japanese textiles, patterns. And this is Japanese incense. It's called Japanese cypress, which is hinoki. So I welcome in the spirit of the hinoki tree. And oh, can you smell that, Jackson? Have a sniff. Can you
mm,
smell that?
I can
Yeah.
smell it. You're
Smell the mic.
teleporting it through.
Okay, right. All right. Now, where am I going to put this? I don't know. How about there? Because everything in my ceremonial style is spontaneous, right? All right. Ready with the hoo-has?
Yeah, one sip of cacao and I'm ready.
Okay, off you go.
Okay.
Mama cacao, mama cacao, I welcome you in to my corazon now. Mama cacao, that's a big one. Mama cacao, that's a nice one. I welcome you in. Please come and let's begin. Please come in and let's begin to heal my heart so I can give my heart in the best way to all those around me, young Jackson. Let me give my heart to you today because I love you. I love you, Mama Cacao. Thank you for your medicine. Hoo ha, hoo ha, hoo ha. It's Mama Cacao. That's about enough. Keep singing all day. I'll be finishing this brick.
Whoa, thank you, Peter. Thank you
All
for the
right.
beautiful ceremony song. So much love to you as well. And so much love to Mother Cacao.
Mama Cacao. Mama Cacao. You know what Bart Simpson says?
I don't actually.
He says, don't have a cow, have Mama Cacao. Right?
Wow.
You need to write that on the chalkboard like, I don't know how many times. Yeah.
Don't have a cow, have Mother Cacao. Wow.
Now, also, because I love Japan so much, the tea ceremony is the first introduction to having Oh, my back's already barking at me. The tea ceremony with matcha tea is the first time I was exposed to having tea or a hot beverage in a ceremonial way, a hot stimulating beverage that is meant to bring peace and community, like smoking tobacco, to various different people, such as highborn leaders, shoguns, samurais, with common people and lay people and just average Skuzzabs. So they could go into the tea house, this tiny little house that was meant to humble everyone and equal everyone, and any open conversation and sharing of the heart was encouraged in the tea room, right? And then you go back out of the tea room, everything goes back to the mess of society and culture, complicated stuff. But in the tea room, in the ceremonial space of sharing that tea, if I understand it correctly, it was, can I, Captain, permission to speak frankly or candidly or whatever they say on Star Trek? So this tea whisk is from Japan, from when I learned to do didn't learn to do it. I went to this tea ceremony place near Mount Fuji, in the beautiful sculpted. You should see these machines they use to trim the rows of perfect green tea bushes, and of course there's these mountain monkeys that hide in the bushes, in the green tea bushes. It's really beautiful. So I went and saw this tea museum, and we did tea ceremony there. So this whisk is from there, and then here's a matcha tea bowl that I made. I like the wheel. Everyone likes the wheel, but I like to hand build. You like to do pottery, Jackson?
I've never done it before.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic. Anyway, so I hand built this little tea bowl, and so I'm just gonna whisk it up. I like to. So this is a hybrid of the Japanese tea ceremony, Skuzzabot, and cacao. I'm gonna put in a little bit of cinnamon on the fly. Woo. And I'm going to put in a nice little bit of cayenne there. Got to scratch it out of scratch it out. Scratch your cayenne. Now, you never put cayenne in without scratching it, right? You got to scratch it. And this is a new invention I've just decided to do. It's fresh thyme. And so thyme and chocolate. One time I was walking home from the grocery store, and I'd bought myself oh my goodness, I bought myself a chili chocolate bar.
Mm.
You ever, the chocolate bars with chili in it? It's the first
Okay.
time I ever had a chili chocolate bar, chili chocolate together. It was an impulse buy in the checkout line. And so because I'm Scuzza and I have no self-control, I eat half the groceries all on the way home before I even make the food. I've already eaten, raw tofu, raw meat, raw chicken leg, a whole fish, all on the way home at the bus stop. One time I ate a rotisserie chicken on the bus, and I got chicken juice all over the place, and it stunk. But what was I talking about? The time, you see?
The
So
time.
I walked through the community garden, and I was mouthful of chili chocolate. And I picked a sprig of thyme because I like to chop that up with garlic and olive oil on pasta, just straight up, a little bit of salt. Man, that thyme with the chili chocolate together blew up my mouth. I had to go to the dentist for a complete new set of teeth. Blew up my mouth with the flavors.
Wow.
There we go. Hey,
Cheers.
cheers, homeboy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ooh, mmm. It makes me think of my mummy.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, Jackson. Let's crack.
What's cracking? So what's
I heard you're
cracking?
on TV.
Well, not quite. I'm on the news station, like the internet
Sure.
news station. I'm on Info News.
Info.
Info
That's
News.
TV. That's the same
Yeah.
thing as TV.
Yeah. So anyway, A while ago, there's a lady who reached out to one of the cold dip pages, and she was wondering if she could do an article on cold dips and like the group and everything. So I said, sure. So I went and I had a conversation with her over the telly,
Mhm.
and she went and she did an article online about it, which I'm
Mhm.
very, very proud of how it turned out. Like
Yeah.
I did one time where I talked on a radio, and then I was like a partial person, like in a side note in some other articles, but this article was purely dedicated on cold exposure and my experience with like the two groups I lead, the hiking, as well as just like my whole experience with cold exposure. And I felt that she articulated what I said very, very well. She talked about like I talked about how I got into it, like how through the Lightforce program, that's how I started my cold exposure journey, and through having to do it for the course, I really dove into it head first, literally and figuratively, and and then how it just went from there and how it led to the opportunity of leading a Saturday group and like co-running that, and then being the person of a Sunday group when the guy had to leave to Bali. Shout out
Mm.
Derek.
Mm.
And then how it led to cold hikes, and then how it allowed to like showing up for people and like creating that community space and taking
Mm.
things from there. And I felt she really articulated what I said really well, which I'm very, very proud of.
Oh, you did.
And
Okay. Yeah.
and one big thing that I'm very happy she talked about that I added, because people always ask at the end, like, is there any last things you want to say? But I don't have any questions. I always like to say, the cold is a very powerful, beautiful medicine. However, it is a merciless beast. It should be treated with much respect, and you should have correct safety protocols, like before and after, to make sure that you stay safe. Because
Yeah.
as long as if you take the correct safety protocols, it can be a beautiful experience. But if you just walk to the beach in your shorts and you dive in and you go into shock and you go out and you're shaking and you don't know what to do and you don't have any towel or warm clothes or anything, that's because that can maybe be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're saying is if you're me, that's an issue. Because sometimes, you know, how life gets in the way
hmm
or how we can let it get in the way. Life's like, I didn't get in your way. It's your problem. Anyway, that's fine. Life, thank you. Life's over there knocking at the door. I'll be out in a minute having a podcast. I mean, what life stinks we guys all the time in the world, doesn't it?
hmm
Life. Anyways, life. Um, sometimes oh, I can't do my cold exposure today because I got to go, pick up my daughter, and then I got to go get fresh spaghetti from the pasta factory, and then I have to have a call with Jackson, so I can't do my cold dip. Cold dip takes 5 minutes tops. Add another five to get dry. So sometimes I'll be driving by the beach, and I'll think, you know what, I haven't done it today, right? And I'll think, well, you don't have a towel. You don't have a bathing suit. No excuses. So I'll just pull the van up to the beach. Um, and if there's people around, then I'll just, you can wear it. Do you know about wearing a t-shirt as a diaper? You put your legs through the armholes and you tie an umbilical cord knot in the neck hole so your junk doesn't fall out the bottom. And then away you go. So I just do that with my t-shirt, and I get back into the van dripping wet and shivering, and then I drive. So I'm a liability, I'm a hazard, and I am a merciless beast as well. So uh, maybe I should look at those behaviors, young Jackson. Hey,
Well, I mean, at least you have the warm van.
yeah,
At
sure,
least you have the warm van. That's the big
yeah,
thing.
yeah, warm van.
hmm But yeah, and okay, one last little side note about it. So I tried to post about it on Instagram. I took a
Oh,
screenshot of it, and then I took a screen recording and I scrolled through the entire article. And I tried to post it, and Instagram will not let me because it is news. I even if I
uh,
didn't even put I put infotel. I didn't
yeah,
even put .ca in the
yeah,
caption. But all it did is I put that, and I think it was the screen recording. I think in the Instagram peoples didn't like that. So it's like it said, your post will post when it's ready. It will post
yeah,
when it's ready. and then it just and then it's just like, oh, we can't post it. Like
Yeah,
something went
yeah,
wrong.
yeah. Well, you do know that Trudy Duty, Trudy Doo Doo, the poo poo man that shits on countries, he he made it so that we cannot post news on social media in Canada. Right.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
Right. But you know, like don't don't worry about it. Everything's fine, right? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I've been listening to this conservative guy, Paul Revere, talking.
Okay.
Have you heard him?
I don't know if I have.
Okay, he's the conservative leader, and this isn't a political show.
Oh, isn't his name Pierre?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, yes. I know Pierre.
yeah, I know too. He's my boy. Yeah. Anyways, all I have to say, the common sense, and who knows if he's telling the truth or not, right? Of course, I'm not just gonna go, oh, good guy, bad guy, you know, all fucking gray guys. But the common sense that's come out of that man's mouth is refreshing to hear, you know. Anyways, not a political show. Pardon me. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on with you now, Peter?
Well, well, first of all, before I just uh, before I lay my next load on the listeners, what has the response been like so far from your article? Friends, family. I know
Mm.
our teacher is very proud of you. That's great.
So I'm very happy about how it's been received. Like I'm the thing that is cool about it is I've been cold plunging for October. I've had some opportunities to speak at different places or do different things.
Yeah,
However, this is like the middle ground to like what I like to where I feel like what I'm doing and where I'm at. And I
yeah.
can post about it on social media all I want. But as soon as like a news article like is interested, they're like, oh, it's the news, it's the news,
Yeah.
and then they're all like, wow.
Hmm.
So that's been it's especially for I'll say like some of my older relatives. They're
Hmm.
like say aunts, uncles,
Hmm.
my parents are proud of it. It's been nice and I really like the way it was written. I'm very very happy about how that went. So it's been very positive. They're like, wow, you articulate. They're seeing a little bit of the breathwork Jackson come through. They're like,
What?
wow, you articulated it pretty well.
And who is the journalist?
Her name is Georgina something. I can't remember her last name.
Oh, can you look it up quickly so we can give her a shout?
Yes, I will.
Georgina, Georgina, young Georgina, get in the cold. Come on, Georgina. Come on, get in the cold with us. And does she like cold dipping?
Oh, I actually, damn, I didn't ask her.
Because
I
if you're
sh
writing an article on cold dipping, you'd
hmm
think she should give it a try.
Yeah. So anyway, her name is Georgina. Yeah, Georgina Whitehouse. Shout out
Georgina
Georgina
Whitehouse.
Whitehouse.
Yeah, and what is a White House? House made of ice. Get in,
Oh,
Georgina.
yeah.
Yes,
The lake is the White House, especially when it freezes over.
White House. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. So thank you, Peter. I wanted to post about it on socials and be like, "Hey guys, look at this." But it transpired to my parents sent it to some relatives and I posted in the Lightforce chat. And I'm like, "This is fine." And then I can always tell people about it if I want to.
Yeah. Speaking of socials,
Oh, bless you, Peter. Cacao.
so I'm allergic to socials.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh, anyhow, speaking of socials, people have been telling me forever to get on the TikTok. Have you heard of this?
Oh, TikTok. Yes, I've heard of the TikTok.
Yeah. And so for about at least 5 years or more, I've been going, okay, I'm not a little girl who likes to do dance routines. I love dance routines. I have a little girl, I have a daughter. The TikTok's for them, and I wish it wasn't because it's hijacking all their attention, anyways. Uh, the other reason, of course, is it's Chinese people spying on us. Well, spy all you like. They already, know everything about me, probably. I'm big. I'm very popular in China, North Korea, Russia, popular everywhere, Jackson, because Skuzzabot is a part of everyone's lives, whether they know it or not. But well, I was going to say that I joined TikTok. My
Wow.
Jackson, that is hard drugs. It is hard drugs because the algorithm basically they just cranked it to 10, 10 times 10, you know, and they I really have to be careful because I thought yet the day I started using it, the instant that like the hundreds and hundreds of instant hits that you get off of that, like everything I was viewing my life through a lens of, is this a moment? Is this thought a moment? Should I record that? It stole my present moment and made it into an endless performance for
Mm.
not just me and my environment, but so anyways, that was my experience with that. Have you ever tried that? Spreading your message on there?
So I made a TikTok a long time ago, when I
Uh-huh.
was badminton Jackson or Kurtz badminton. I posted two TikToks or just one, and then I talked to my barber and I didn't like it, and
Mhm.
so I deleted it. And then
Mm.
I've pretty much only been on the Instagram and YouTube game.
Yeah.
What's your experience with Instagram Reels versus TikTok? Like, how does it differentiate? Or
Because the amount of instant attention on a completely um, universal scale, like it doesn't just stick you in little pockets where there's a ceiling, right? And the only way out of that with the Instagram Reels, the only way to break through that ceiling and get out of the little circle that you're stuck in is to have someone outside your circle share you to their circle. So I find with the TikTok, it seems to be that they shuffle things. I use the word universally, but across the entire spectrum of users. I'm sure that our algorithm targets stuff that we like, but I think that they're all the same company. Well, no, are they that? No, they're a different company, aren't they? Yeah. Anyways, I think part of their competition is that they go, oh no, we're not going to throttle you and keep limit you. We're just going to give you as much as more than you can handle. And yeah, but my point is, for spreading a message, if you can control yourself, I think it is way more effective uh, for spreading whatever message you want. I violated the community guidelines on my first post. I was
how?
vacuuming naked, and and of course I didn't show my hose, right? I
Mm-hmm.
did this funny thing where I held a vacuum hose in front of my junk and was like, you know what? The internet sucks. I'm naked. My name is Peter Allan. I'm on TikTok. And all this shit. So anyway, that's that. Let's move on. How's your cacao?
Very good. I
You
haven't
know
had a
what I
cup
like?
of cacao in a little bit, so I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah. What I like to do is when I get to the bottom sludgy bit, I just re-up my water. And
Mm.
where's my whipstick? Whipstick. Where's my lipstick? You dipstick. All right. And I find when I do this whisking, it releases the heat faster. I don't know if that's a real thing, but you can
Oh,
have scalding hot liquid. You can whisk it. And I think the air introducing to it cools it down faster.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, oh yeah.
Mm.
Never
What?
washed this bowl.
One little thing before we get into what's in with you. One thing that I found with cacao that I'm really enjoying is I like it is a way of like even sh like kind of sharing space with people, or like kind of like when you're hanging out with people. It's kind of like a nice way to like have something together. Like I know like in normal culture, or I'll say in like society, that
Yeah,
alcohol is a very much big thing for that. Like you go over, you crack a few beers with your buds, you go, you
definitely.
hang out, you talk some shit, you have some laughs, like and it's just a hoot and a holler. But like
Sure.
cacao, it's like a nice, it's like a nice heart opening. It gets you feeling, it gets you just there in the present. And it's just
Yeah,
and I find especially like some people know about it, but for the ones who don't, it can be an interesting experience with them too. Or even and it's a nice little thing.
yeah, yeah. That's a good little example, good comparison to dive into with drinking as a means of connecting, connecting, or cacao as a means of connecting, and what parts of us connect, verse one versus the other, and what is the effect of the connect, and we could talk about that. So I know with drinking, a large part of why I drank was to feel connected to friends, social life, and they call it the social lubricant, right? So I have to acknowledge that yes, there has been many great connections and good heart opening times of talking with someone and cutting right to the core and finding ourselves getting emotional, and over a couple glasses of wine, like alcohol has provided that, but I guess that is fleeting. That is not guaranteed, and the baggage that comes with using alcohol to connect, the toxicity, it's not giving us any nutrients. It's giving us sugar. Some alcoholics just survive purely on the alcohol that they drink. Uh, there's the toxicity, there's the lack of awareness, the numbing. And what part of us do you think it opens to connect? Like, how does alcohol make us, other than just removing our inhibitions? Is that maybe the only way it connects us?
Do you think I don't know if I can speak personally onto this, but would you say that with alcohol? Because I feel like in sober, like when you're sober, I feel like sometimes there's walls that we put up to like that are in between us and like us really opening up. And I feel like alcohol makes it a little bit easier to it might like it's that lubricant that maybe makes it feels a little bit easier to open up those doors,
Yeah,
especially if that's a difficult subject for you to dive into.
yeah. So maybe if Mother Cacao um, opens our hearts to connect, it's an opening. I would compare that to booze, as in booze kicks down the walls that are our inhibitions that are preventing us from, the walls you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like, boom, the wall's gone. Yay, I can connect. But dude, you just demolished a wall. You used violence, right? I think the spirit of alcohol is a little violent.
Hmm.
You know, it's temperamental. It's volatile. I mean, you can blow shit up with it. Try blowing something up with cacao. You know, you can make a
Yeah.
bomb out of alcohol. You can't make a bomb out of cacao. Wow, I did it again, young Jackson. So, yeah, yeah. Is that what you were asking? sort of,
Yeah,
we want,
yeah.
yeah,
I think that was a good comparison.
yeah, thanks.
Hmm. Where would you say, like you talked about how cacao opens the hearts.
Yeah,
If where do you think alcohol goes to in the body?
yeah. Well, the liver, for sure. I know it goes to my pants as well, right?
Hmm.
Sort of brings the lower chakras, definitely activates those, primal, horny, uh, that kind of, I think it goes there. Goes to the, yeah, lower, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get crude. Um,
Hmm.
and to the head, obviously, the head goes straight to the head. Um, and I think at first there's a moment of clarity, when the booth first hits and you feel that wall removed and you go, oh, but then the fog comes in and that clarity's gone or it becomes delusional. So I guess there's where someone who can drink maturely and responsibly can enjoy that one glass of wine and that connection with someone and not go too far over. But I think with cacao we can have several cups and not lose connection. Um, yeah.
Mm. Yeah,
Mhm.
I appreciate that insight. I appreciate that insight. Cacao's been an interesting thing in my life because like when we talk about say that versus alcohol, I've like for me, I haven't ever really been a drinker. I haven't touched any alcohol since I was 16, and it's just been a
Mhm.
choice that I don't want to do. And cacao has
Mhm.
been it's been an interesting thing to bring up because I felt like before, instead of like with the alcohol, for me it was always just like, oh, I'll just drink water or I'll just drink sugary drinks. And I feel like for myself, it's been nice because it's
Sugary
allowed
drinks.
it's a lot the sugary drinks. Whoa. I'm trying to take that step away from that. And that's where like cacao's coming in, tea's coming in, just different or just even just being very conscious of the water. And for me, I feel like it's allowed me to be a little bit more aware of those walls that were put up. And it allowed me
Mhm.
from maybe a younger age to be more aware of myself. Cause like even like when I would go out or I'd go in those party settings, I'd still have that awareness of like I can choose to open those doors without kicking them down and I
Mhm.
can choose to still have fun without that. However,
Mhm.
though, it led me to when I was much younger, a very big avoidance of partying. Like
Yeah.
all throughout high school, I went to one in grade 12. I went to one house party, but the
Mhm.
entirety of my high school, there had in Manitoba, there's these things called socials where
Mhm.
they get married and they rent out a hall and they have like a bunch of gifts and they basically just have like a dance and they sell alcohol there. They sell like just regular non-alcoholic drinks, and
Mhm.
you like everyone just goes. People just get shit faced. Everyone just dances, and then that's kind of just what it is. And
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
I'd go to those sometimes because it felt like it was a little bit of a safer alternative, or it felt like if I didn't want to drink, I wouldn't be so alienated.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, but that was something that was a thing for me. But it was interesting. That was like a part of my life that I neglected for a long time, just because I was like I'm not gonna drink, so
Mhm.
I'll just not participate in that.
Yes, yeah. See, and I think so many people feel that way, but they go, well, young Jackson, I'd love to, have a really spiritual, like deep circle of people drinking cacao, but that only comes around every once in a while, and it's like 40, $50, and it's a small thing, and I never hear about it. And how do it's like, you can't compete with the fact that everyone is in the booze world, like the pubs, restaurants, parties, music events are based around the economy of booze, right? And I think that's where, if we drive it back to the politics and the government Pete's fucking wingnut conspiracy shit, it's almost like it's a part of government control that they the economy is based on so much on making money from alcohol. And even though it's poisoning people and causing death and violence, um, especially domestic, uh, it's like, well, it's running the economy, right? And it's kind of like maybe like oil. I don't think we can tear down the economy that's built on oil without already having something to replace it with so that we don't lose our economy. Because when we lose our economy, inflation, poverty, more death, more suffering. And then we're desperate, so we don't have the luxury of, working on renewable energy and the luxury of studying, where it's just basically tooth and nail, or whatever they say, claw and hand to mouth, so that stuff. Hand, foot, and mouth disease. I had that once. Anyway, what was that? I got off topic. Yeah, so I feel really lucky to have been let into this magical world of cacao ceremonies, and it's hard to find for the average person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So making that stuff accessible, making breathwork and cold bathing workshops accessible to the average person who's not going to find this in their news feed, is so important to me. And I guess you have to be in a place where you can receive this vibe. Because I know the first time I sat in circle and was, oh, we're going to sing a song? Like, what? No. Like, the only time you get most people to sing a song in front of strangers is if they're hammered at a karaoke bar. So I guess the form of connection that booze provides, there's no pressure. It takes all
Mm.
even though there's the peer pressure of, oh, I'm going to drink, I don't really want to, but that's what everyone's doing. Um, the connection that you get with people, it's carefree, careless,
Mm.
less care, whatever, we're drunk, fuck it. Whereas with cacao, you get a connection, but it becomes this really deep, intimate, special, personal thing. And I don't know if most people are ready for that,
That's a
you
big
know?
one. That's a really
Yeah.
big point.
Because I speak for myself. It took a lot. So,
Y- Yeah,
yeah.
and it's that's a really big point that you make. Is like, are you ready for that? That's a really big thing. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
That's a really big point that you make out. And it's interesting, even like those spaces, like, because I feel like you said, I feel very blessed that we were brought into the world of cacao by our teacher and that we've been able to have such a fruitful relationship with cacao. I'm so blessed. And even like being able to get cacao from Guatemala, like that has been
Mm.
life-changing. It's been beautiful. And
Yeah.
I realize not a lot of people are able to do that and with
Mhm.
the accessibility.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
there's one.
Yeah.
Oh, and then with the receiving point, it's interesting how, like with myself, when I talked a bit about how I like neglected that part of myself, I did
Mm.
dive into it. Like when I was, I guess 2 years ago, I had a period of time where I liked to go clubbing. But a fun fact, I've never been to a nightclub not sober.
Okay, so you've never been to a nightclub drunk.
Never. I've never been to a nightclub on any substance.
Wow.
The only, I guess, okay, caffeine.
Hmm.
That was my like ritual where people are like, oh, I'm gonna pregame. I'm gonna be like, I'll just drink a Red Bull. And
Yeah.
and then it
Hmm.
was like, because I don't ever really drink caffeine either. So it was
Hmm.
like the effects it would give me would be quite substantial because I wouldn't have caffeine very often because I don't drink coffee or anything.
Yeah.
So that was, but it's interesting, but like you can still make a conscious choice to connect. However, it's a very different experience being in a nightclub sober when everyone else is intoxicated. Because you're like, yeah, like how's your life going? And then they're just like, it's fine. And like, or it's like you can have some sort of conversation, but it's just I felt that wasn't the right place to try to have that. You can still go in those spaces and try to connect with people. It's just gonna be much different than like when you sit down and have a cup of cacao
Mhm.
and connect with someone, say like this, or like a cacao circle and breath work.
Yeah, I like lava love,
Lava love.
lava love. Their Instagram, the Instagram, their ceremonies they have there and their reels and posts. I see people having a great old time. It's a party. Everyone's making music and singing, and there's sacred smoke in the air and beautiful faces smiling. It's colorful, you know? Yeah,
Hmm.
beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful. Yeah.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah, you mentioned the shift. I think you said a shift of some kind right there, didn't you? You used the word shift.
Yeah, I think so. Between the nightclubs versus the cacao places,
Yeah.
or like,
You're ready for the shift, I think is what you said. And that
yes.
reminded me last time we were going to talk about more about the impending shift of the world, and in all forms of how we're living and being here, and how we're feeling that based on me as an older person, you as younger. And I don't know if we said, well, we could have talked all day, but um, I wanted to mention that something that's been irritating me is that ever since I was your age or a little younger, even young teens, 12, 13, I've started reading spiritual books
Mm.
and books from the 60s, 70s. And they were all saying, "Oh, are you ready for the shift? It's happening." Like, okay, so in the 60s, the shift, it's all these books, whatever time period they all talk about this big shift. And so when someone says, "Okay, guys, here it comes, guys," the shift is always happening. It seems like, you know. So maybe I don't know. That part is I've always got hung up on. Like, yeah, we're at a major point of transformation right now. When have we not been?
Yeah.
But this is a different one. They say this one's different. Well, yeah, it sure as hell is. Like AI singularity, yeah, that big time different.
Hmm.
So maybe this is finally the big one, Jackson. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's an interesting point how you bring that up. It's like, oh, we're at a point, and it can always be said. It can always be said. It can always
mm,
be said. I feel like it might come down to even like where you decide to put yourself as well. Like the world will
mhm.
always be in a shift, but are you ready to, you could say it's like, are you ready to receive that shift? Are you ready to lean into it?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
ready
yeah,
to feel
yeah.
into it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so maybe that eternal shift, uh, it keeps coming into our lives to check on us and see if we're ready.
Hmm.
And so, how does this land when we throw this synchronicity at him? How's he going to digest it? Oh, he's been drinking the cacao and breathing and getting cold with young Jackson. Oh shit! I think he might be ready for the shit.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Peter. I appreciate your insight onto that topic. I'll
Thank
say
you.
before let's move, I feel like let's move on to a different topic. However,
Yep,
I want to
yeah,
say
let's shift.
well, let's shift. One last little thing I want to mention is Peter had when we talked about alcohol, Peter had a very interesting, he said something to me that really changed my perspective on alcohol. I don't drink, but I used to be a bartender.
Got it.
Anyway, and Peter said a quote that made me think about changing my profession. He said, you're working with the light, talking about like breath work and spirituality, yet you're serving the poison." And I was like,
Mhm.
wow.
That's right.
So I'm not a bartender anymore. I'm a
Yeah,
smoothie tender.
yeah, yeah. Are you?
So
How's that going?
it's good. Oh, I think I might have told you this. I might have not. But I recently, so you remember the saunas that we
Biotech.
got? Yeah,
Biotech.
BioShack. I
Yeah.
recently got a job offer to work there on weekends.
Yeah, I didn't know if we're allowed to talk about that yet, since maybe I don't want to ruin your chances of getting hired.
I think it's already pretty set in stone.
Okay, all right. Tell us about BioShack.
So the owner of BioShack, or the CEO, his I won't say his name right now, but shout out you. We've been chatting for a good while. We've been chatting since BioShack before it even opened. And he talked a little bit about bringing me on, and I was like,
Mm,
"Great, but the company needs to grow." But they're
yeah,
finally at a point where, and it's funny, I've been working with the BioShack saunas every Saturday and Sunday for like months. I'm the one who,
that's simple. Wait,
pardon? Oh, they're so
they just
nice.
pop up like instant. They fold back down so effortlessly.
You can set them up
And,
and you can set them down up in 15 minutes and make the fire within that time too, and
yeah,
split wood.
yeah, I, yeah. It's
But
too cool.
yeah, but anyway, so now they're at a point where like at their physical brick and mortar location, they can start to bring people in on the weekends
Mm,
and they're starting to book up on the weekends, like on the weekend
mm,
evenings.
mm.
So I asked, so I he damn it, oh, but he went to,
Ah,
oh, I didn't say this full name.
no, you said D'Amigo. You said D'Amigo's new album.
It's a domingo. That means Sunday in Spanish.
Okay,
Anyway, um, he asked me to work weekends, and I was said,
right.
great. So I talked to good old Nature's Fair, and we made,
Mm,
and I reduced my hours there, so I'm just gonna juggle
yeah,
two things.
yeah.
But
Word up. Yep.
so I'll be a part-time smoothie tender, a part-time sauna ice bath man.
Gang.
I'm
Gang,
excited.
gang, gang, gang Gretzky. That's my new one. Gang, gang
Gang,
Gretzky.
gang, Gretzky.
Yeah,
So shout out,
yeah,
shout out you, shout out BioShack.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. But
Right
anyway,
on. Yeah.
I digress.
Well, you know what
Peter,
I'm going to do? You gave me a good idea. Hold that thought.
okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a BioShack sauna. So, boys, put it in order for Skazone. We'll figure out the details later, you know. And what I'm going to do, starting, well, I think I'm ready to put the money down next fall. Okay, so we'll wait to see if there's a 2.0 of their product or whatever. I don't know, but I'll buy it in the fall. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my van with nice, dry, kindling, ready to go, perfectly chopped um, wood. And then I'm going to set up down at Dallas Road and invite people to come and go cold dipping in the fall and winter and set up the BioShack sauna down on the beach. Because, the wood on the beach will be all wet, right? So I'll just always have nice kindling ready to go in the flip and in the van, right? And I'll
Nice.
just drive around representing BioShack, representing Skazone, representing Jackson, representing our teachers company. If I haven't embarrassed everyone too much by then, that's always a worry with me. You know, the,
Hmm. You
yeah,
want it, you want to properly represent it.
yeah. Well, you see, you never know what I'm going to say, so I could tank someone's brand in 5 minutes, but I don't have the reach to do that yet. So that's okay. Get in now, and then pull your sponsorship when I get too big. How about that? Help me grow. I'll help you grow, and then get out before we both ruin it for each other. It's like a relationship. You fall in love, everything's nice, and then years later you're driving each other crazy. So yeah, let's do it. Okay. Now, what were you going to ask me?
What's alive for you, Peter? I know you've been working on something.
Alive. Well, a lion is alive. Should we both do a little bit of lion's breath right now?
Yeah.
Got a little bowl. So the lion. Now, I've got the lamb on my head and the lion in my heart because of our wonderful teacher has passed along a great book, The Undreaming Watiko by Paul Levy, and that has delivered the message of a Buddhist teaching called the lion's gaze. To summarize, again, we've talked about this a lot. If someone throws a stick, their dog runs after it. You throw the stick in front of the lion does not run after it. He looks at the thrower. You figure out the rest, but that's a reference to our thoughts, not running away with those thoughts that are just thrown out of nowhere and we just react. The lion turns around, responds to the thrower, and goes, "Why did you throw that stick?" So I was really inspired by that. It just hit me as soon as I read the words. I saw a painting in my head, as I often do, and I just knew I had to paint it. I haven't painted in a while, and I thought, well, this is in alignment with what I'm studying, because everything has to come second to our studies right now, young Jackson, or else I'll just get too sidetracked. So this was a part of our studies, I figured. So, it's kind of like a write-off. Oh, I'll just call this part homework, Mom, I'm going to young Jackson's house. We're doing a podcast. It's for homework. Are you going to drink cacao again? No. Yes, Mama, I'm going to drink it. Good boy. Drink your Ovaltine. Nah, drink your cacao. So, I saw it as lines and lines and lines of black calligraphy. I'm a graffiti artist at heart. That's where I come from. I love writing. So I figured I'd write it over and over as a mantra. I saw it, big chiseled black brush, lines, gaze, lines, gaze, lines, gaze, lines, gaze in a square. And then right in the middle of that square was a big, bold red lion. The red symbolizing stop, like a stop sign. Stop, look, and listen. Stop, drop, and roll. What? So that's a dog move. Now, the dog I painted at the bottom in green. So black writing, red lion, bottom corner, I did a dog in green in Keith Haring style. Keith Haring was a popular New York graffiti artist in the late 70s, early 80s, and very iconic, simple characters, one color, primary colors, fat black outline, people jumping, little dogs, little animals, hearts, messages, a lot of world peace messages, a lot of AIDS awareness messages. And people rock his stuff without even knowing anything about him. That's fine. People rock Hokusai's Great Wave without knowing. But I think most people that rock Van Gogh's Starry Sky know who Van Gogh is. Anyway, it's funny how culture takes images like that. So, yeah, I put a call out on the internet and said, does anyone want to sponsor this mural? Because usually I go find a wall in an alleyway on the train tracks or some derelict building and paint for free, because I just love to paint and I don't really have the patience to go, oh, we got to get a grant, working on a grant. And then like months and months later, I finally get, no, I paint it now, right? And then I pay out of pocket and I go broke and go, woo, woo. So anyhow, someone reached out that works there's the first mushroom shop in Victoria. That is an actual, street level, like street side window display downtown. They're selling mushrooms out in the open, right? And I don't know if I should mention their name. It's in Victoria. If you know, right? Everyone knows. It's called High Vibes Nutrition. Big ups, shout outs, respect, Jakalaka. Nino Santos, in effect. They've got every kind of mushroom you could ever want. I mean, they're cultivated, so for the purist, they're not picked from the wild, and they're not treated with, I don't know how much ceremony and intention is put into growing them. I mean, on a commercial level, how can you really have the time to, bless each mushroom and make offerings? It does ride that line of, commercial, ceremonial. Where do you, the sacred medicine, like this cacao, right? This cacao comes from people that put a lot of time in to revering it. But I think at some point in our lives, we have to submit to the demands of commerce and business in order to get our sacred things to market, and to people that need them. I'm not, all respect to this shop and for providing that medicine. And they do respect mushrooms, and they do elevate mushrooms there. They worship them. They've got them displayed in beautiful artistic containers, these little glass things. And the guy that runs it, Trevor, he's a super knowledgeable guy. Shout out Trevor. He wears Cacao too. I was a little pissed off when I first met him. He's wearing these same kind of glasses. Like, what? I'm the only one who wears these in town. Yeah. So, and at first I kind of thought, who is this guy selling mushrooms? But the more I talk to him, the more I realize, what a great person he is in terms of studying plants and respecting plants and dedicating his life to learning about plants. He's a herbalist and knows a lot about breath work already. He was part of my nervous system regulation workshop. So this shop, Trevor and Kit, big ups Kit. He's got the first, well, not the first, but one of the very popular cold bathing clubs in town called the Mile Zero Minnows. They go down to the beach every day around 9 o'clock at Mile Zero and cold dip there. And matter of fact, he said an eagle swooped down and grabbed a half-eaten crab yesterday. Off of at the Mile Zero while they're cold bathing. So figure that one out. Don't know what that means. So these two guys, Trevor and Kit, run this mushroom shop, and they said, "Oh yeah, come on, paint our place." So right next to their mushroom shop, they're opening a practice dojo. So a dojo for practices. And what kind of practices, you say? Well, martial arts, right? But just the idea of a practice, having a practice. So this place, they'll be doing podcasts in there. They'll be doing workshops. I'm going to be doing some breath journeys in there. And that's the place where I painted this lion. Yeah. So I reached into my bag of tricks, my Skuzzabot bag of tricks. And we all know I could go to the store and buy brand new spray paint, and I could make a super photorealistic lion. Ooh, it's so real. Ooh, look at its eyes. They're spheres. 3D spheres. Yeah. No. What I really tried to do is taking old bucket paint that I had since Kelowna when I was driving around last summer. Old black bucket paint, old white bucket paint, and a little bit of red acrylic artist paint from Opus. And I had one can of spray paint, black, that I just sort of took the fat cap, the large nozzle, and just dusted over the whole thing to give it some grit. And I had one tiny little tin of a car paint, some hot red, cherry red, banner red, some juicy tomato, as red as you can get, like this red. Yeah, that. I had a tiny little can of it, car paint from the dump. So these meager, simple little ingredients is all I had. And I had a dollar store spray bottle that cracked, right? Because I kind of use water spray in the squirt bottle instead of spray paint to get a misty effect. So I would put a little acrylic on, spray the water bottle, let it bleed and mist and blend so I can get that soft look, right? So the bottle cracked because I bought it from the dollar store. You never buy anything from the dollar store, right? I mean, what do you expect? The dollar store
Dollar store.
brushes, even though the dollar store brushes fell apart several times, I was still able to glue them back together with paint. So I used dollar store brushes. Now, maybe it's unfair of me to put that on the client. You know, I hired Peter to paint for me, and he brought dollar store materials and paint from the dump. Is that professional? No, but I am. I can make it professional, and that's my magic is making that garbage turn to gold. And that's what the lion's gaze does. Is the lion doesn't go, oh, oh, it's not. I don't like this dog food. It's not good enough. You know, the lion just turns around and eats everyone. You know, eats everyone. I don't know what that means. So that was the process. It all came together beautifully, and I wanted to do like calligraphy. I wanted the lion to look like part of the calligraphy, so the face was made of brush strokes that looked like calligraphy brush strokes, and it kind of blended in together. So it was very tricky to have a realistic looking lion and the calligraphy in the background, and have them complement each other and not be too different. So it was another learning process. I got to say, there were times when I was painting it, I thought, oh my God, I'm making a horrible mess. And, you know, that never ends. Painting a picture, it's very rarely is it just oh, this is easy. It's going to look so good. There always comes a point in a painting for me when I go, I don't think I know what I'm doing. This is awful. And I reached this point. And that's where the real Lionsgate's reference comes in, is because instead of chasing that thought of, oh no, I fucked up, I just turn around and look back at me and go, did you? Did you? Or have you done this before? And it's always led to a discovery. And so I kept going, and finally it clicked at the end, and I was, oh, thank God. You know, it's like such a relief. I mean, other artists may plan their work better, have a sketch already done. This is what it's going to look like. I just have to execute it. Sure, I've done that, and that's very helpful for furthering the vision even more. But life, it moves fast, and we're involved in a lot of things. And personally, I like the artwork that's spontaneous and just happens with no plan. Yeah, making room for the spontaneity. So yeah, that's what's alive for me, man. Yesterday was a beautiful day. Sunday, you know, the Church of Paint. We worshipped. Praise the Lord.
It looks like such a powerful and beautiful and profound painting.
Thanks,
How
man.
what would you say? How big is it if you were to like give
Yes,
dimensions?
yes. I would say it's probably 8 by 8, 8 by 8 by 8, maybe 9 by 9,
Wow.
maybe even 10. Yeah, close to 10 feet by 10 feet.
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
very big painting. It looks
yeah.
so where is it? Like is it directly
Balmoral, Balmoral Street.
is it like when you go into the shop as well, is that like the first thing that you see or is it like on the side wall? Like where is it in there?
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's it's the sidewall. You walk in the front door and it's to the side. They're putting mirrors up in there for the gym, you know. So it'll be
Hmm.
all mats, you know, like dojo mats, whatever they call those, and mirrors and punching bags and cool kettlebell stuff, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
really
man.
awesome. I'm really happy that you were able to do that, Peter.
Thanks, man. Me too. Yeah. Yeah, we did a good little trade too, you know. Uh, I'm winking, Jackson.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm receiving the winks, Peter.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So stay tuned for Dr. Scazzoni's special lion's mane pills. Yeah. Lion's mane. We haven't quite. I mean, everyone's mixing the philosophy with
Cubensis.
yeah. My name is Paul Stamets, and I like to say philosophy. I don't say shrooms. So big up, Paul. Shout out Cortez Island. Oh, my knees are sore, young Jackson. You get sore knees yet? Or are you still too young for that?
When I played badminton, I did, and then I had to switch up my workout routine.
Yeah.
But now I'm chilling. My knees feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. We'll stay tuned for Dr. Siscone's special
Dr.
formulas.
Dr. Scazzoni's mushroom scones.
Oh,
Oh shit! I want to grab a banana, but it'll move the flipping camera. Oh,
oh.
what about my banana?
Huh.
Okay, so should we? What do you want to talk about now?
I feel like we covered a lot. Talked a lot about cacao, ceremony, cacao versus alcohol, or like comparing the two, but not like directly putting them up against each other. We talked about what's alive for myself. We talked about what's alive for you. I feel like we covered a lot today, and I'm really grateful for
How
this.
long have we been going for?
I believe it's been an hour and 15.
Yeah,
Ooh.
cool. Yeah, I guess we were going to chat a little bit about ceremony.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you want me to start on it, or do you want to talk a little bit
Yeah, what
about it?
does the ceremony mean to you?
Ceremony, what does a ceremony mean to me?
Oh, and I knew the meaning of this word too.
I
Gosh.
I personally don't, if I'm going to be honest, but I
Yeah.
will speak to what a ceremony means for me. A ceremony to me means a set amount of time where I'm going to partake in like a certain activity or a certain thing over a certain amount of time, and I go into it with like I go into it with reverence to what I'm doing and much appreciation, and I'm there for a specific purpose.
Mm,
That, like, for instance, we can have a cacao ceremony where we're there to connect with the cacao. You could do the Dr. Scazzoni's lion's mane scones, and you could be going and you could have reverence for the scone that you're eating. You could
mm,
have like I when I had people over, I called it almost like a connection ceremony where it's like you can open it up, you have a space where people are dedicated there to connect with each other, then you can
mm,
close it out after. Or
mm,
you could and I feel like ceremony to me now is where you're doing something over a certain time with reverence to what you're doing, and it's like very and it's intent and dedicated or intentional to that. It can
mm,
change and you can ebb and flow in there, and I'm not saying it has to be like it has to be set in stone. Like I have to be in this room, I have to be doing this thing, I have to be here for this amount of time, I have to close it, I have to open it. And but I feel like you can ebb and flow within that. And it's like you put that intention out to this is what I'm gonna do. You allow yourself to be within it, and then you have like your endpoint.
mm, yeah, yeah,
What does a ceremony mean to you, Peter?
yeah. Well, I think you summed it up there with, having a plan, just like I said, my painting yesterday was unplanned. I had an idea, but the way I treated the painting process was very unceremonial.
Hmm.
I bow to the wall. I ask for guidance for my best work to come through. And I connect with the heart and the mind. I feel that energy coming and that glow and the warm glow and that ooh and so that's ceremonial. But the rest of it, like talking to people that come in and hey, that's fucking cool, having a little blast of several doobies yesterday and playing all kinds of bass music and running around and goofing around like that. There was no ceremony to that. That was free play. So yeah, I think you should really sum it up there when you having a real strong intent and a plan and an opening and a closing, like defined, a defined activity that's for a purpose. I don't know. They both can. I think that's pretty fluid there. Maybe it's all how you look at it. With ceremony, a state of mind at how you look at what you're doing. You know.
Mm.
Um, but I heard on a podcast called The Emerald, uh, amazing uh, podcast. What's that guy's name? Josh something. Anyway, brilliant young man. He said that the word ceremony comes from cereal.
Hmm.
So in ancient cultures, when they'd harvest grain, they would come together to share the harvest, the grain, and that cereal, the word ceremony. That was a gathering to celebrate the harvest, if I understand correctly. Yeah. So all I know, young Jackson, is that had I have put the extra time in to really, I mean, I'm in a shop downtown. You can't control the environment, you know. Hey guys, sorry, can't come in. It's a ceremony going on. you know, it's a ruckus down there. Street people, all kinds of stuff. So kids running around, kicking soccer balls into the room, knocking my paint over, and puddle jumping. This kid was puddle jumping. There's a ceremony, eh? Yeah, that was lovely. So that's it.
Yeah.
Should we close this ceremony, or you got some more to say?
One little thing to say. One little thing. I feel like even though a ceremony, I feel like it's great to have intention with it. I feel like you can definitely have fun within ceremony too. And you can definitely allow it to flow and allow it to be. Because you hear people or you hear the song that our teacher has shown us, My life is a ceremony.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can
That's
just and I feel like even one of the things, like the way I interpret that, is you're living your life in like an intent. Like this is like the way that I want it to go. And like you can definitely allow yourself to receive, allow it to flow, allow things to come in, but you can go with that intention instead of just living every day to day like, well, I hope I make it tomorrow. I hope I make it to the
mhm.
other. And life
Yeah,
could be like that, where it's like this is like light
yeah,
force. Like we could be like,
mhm,
this is like a big intention of my life.
yeah,
Or like this is like another thing. This is another thing, but like a lot going in with that intention, but then just
yeah.
allowing it to flow, but allowing yourself to receive within it too.
I guess that's why the first step in a ceremonial life is constant, vigilant cleaning. You can't have a ceremony without first cleaning the space. And we can't approach our lives as a ceremony without getting our affairs in order. So I was talking about in that little reel I posted about the stream of shit, you know, how we already have all the gifts of life that we need, but because we're so busy playing catch up and keeping up with bills and commitments, that we barely able to get to catch up to cleaning house so that we can open the door and receive those gifts that come in, you know? So that's really when I wake up in the morning and I think of all the stuff I want to do. I want to paint, I want to breathe, I want to bathe, I want to make videos, I want to look for work, I want to sell merch, I want to do a podcast with Jackson. It's like, good old Jordan Peterson. Have you made your bed? Right? Are you going to put that pair of shorts on that you wore yesterday with no boxer shorts, Peter? Or are you going to do some laundry, you dirty big man? So, yeah, cleaning house. We could even talk at the tune in next podcast for tips on cleaning up around the house. Yeah. Who knows what we'll talk about next, Jackson, but it was sure nice to connect today.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Peter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the connection. I appreciate the making the cacao as well. And
Um,
and allowing today to be a ceremony. All the listeners being with us were
yeah,
in ceremony with us. you were
Yeah,
taken along this journey of the conversation, letting it flow and the
yeah.
connection. So
And
thank
that
you.
was spontaneous, right?
Yeah.
So I guess all the best intentions can have to make way for spontaneity.
Yep.
And my favorite thing about the oak tree, anyways, in general, the oak, is that oak is one of the most adaptable trees, you know? And so being adaptable in life, and getting up fast when we're knocked down and not hanging on to them, beating ourselves up about the mistakes. I'm still doing that every day, Jackson. Still trying to let go of my attachment to my mistakes and just be more adaptable because
Mhm.
it's coming in fast. This has been Peacock Pranayama. We don't have many listeners yet, but we're gonna keep going every day. And you were here at the beginning. This is for you.
Yes. Thank you. Signing off. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Peter.